Hey guys, so today we are going to look at the executive branch of the government. This is the one that the president is in charge of. So first we've got a couple vocab words. A policy is a general plan to deal with a problem. Cabinet members are expert advisors to the president. So they're experts that give the president advice. What's the job of a cabinet member? All right. A veto is the president's power to refuse to sign a bill they think would be a bad law. The commander in chief is the president's role as the head of the armed forces. So, as commander in chief, the president is in charge of the army, the navy, and the air force. What is the president in charge of as the commander in chief? All right. So there are three parts of government. Last week we looked at the legislative branch. Their job is to make laws. They are also called Congress, and they are made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The next branch we are going to look at is called the executive branch. Its job is to carry out laws. This branch is made up of the president, the vice president, his cabinets, and their departments. So, the president is in charge of making sure the laws of the country are followed and work. But that's a very big job for one person, so he has a group of people to help him. His right hand man is called the vice president, and they also have a group of advisors called the cabinet. The cabinet meets to give the president advice. So here you see our current president and his cabinet holding a meeting in the White House. Now, each one of these people has a different thing they're an expert on. The president's cabinets has many different departments, and each one of the people at this table are in charge of one of these departments. And each department does a different thing for the United States. For example, the Department of Agriculture is in charge of farms. The Department of Commerce is in charge of money. The Department of Defense used to be called the Department of War. They're in charge of the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. The Department of Education is in charge of schools, and so on. But each department has a job, and the head of that department is part of the president's cabinet. Why do you think the president's cabinet is broken up into so many different departments? So, the president signs all of the laws that Congress passed, just like we talked about last week. But if the president does not like a law, he can reject it. This rejection is called a veto. What does it mean when the president vetoes a law? Good. Now, if Congress doesn't agree with the veto, they can overrule it. If two-thirds of Congress votes to overrule the veto, they can get around it and it becomes a law anyway. The last thing to know are that there are requirements to serve as the United States president. You need to be at least 35 years old. You need to have lived in the United States for at least the last 14 years. And either you need to have been born in the United States or your parents need to have been born in the United States. Why do you think they made these rules? Do you agree or disagree with them? Why? All right, guys, have a good day, and I'll talk to you in a little bit.